Okay, this is going to be the third topic, and it's called segment addition postulate. It starts off by saying if A, B, and C are collinear points, and B is between A and C, then AB plus BC is equal to AC. It's not a hard concept. So, for example, if we were to do like a really quick one on the side, and I were to draw something that looks like this, don't draw this in your notes, just take a look. If I tell you that this is 2 and this is 9, then I should know that the entire length from here to here is 11. That's all it's saying. If I take the little pieces and add them up, it should add up to the big piece. So I'm going to go ahead and write. We're going to go ahead and color code these. I'm going to be using three colors. I'm going to be using yellow, pink, and blue. So they're saying segment AB, which is this segment right here, plus if I were to add it with BC, which is this segment right here, and I add those two segments together, then what I should end up with is segment AC. AC, I'm going to do in green, and AC runs from here all the way to the end. Again, you're starting at A and you're running all the way to C, so that's why they call it segment AC. And that segment AC, I'm going to go ahead and highlight in green. So the yellow and the pink section add up to equal exactly the green section. Okay, so let's use the diagram. So we're going to be using this picture in order to answer question 1 and question 2. If PQ is equal to 9 and QR is equal to 8, find PR. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and color code these again. Let's see, this is the first little section is PQ. PQ, they told me was 9. The next section is QR. QR, they told me was 28. And the last section, the overall section, is going to start from here and it's going to go all the way to R. So I'm going to call it PR. That's both of those sections put together. PR, I don't know what PR is. In fact, they're asking me to find it. Now, hopefully you'll be able to tell like, oh, all I got to do is add the two numbers up, 9 plus 28, and that's going to give me 37. But you want to get used to writing the algebraic equation first because later on the problems are going to get more difficult. The algebraic equation would be the first section plus the second section equals the whole section together. So the first section, I can name that section PQ, plus the second section is QR. And when I put those two sections together, what I end up with is the full section, which is PR, which is the same thing as this section up on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and say PR. Now, what did they tell me about PQ? Well, they told me that PQ was 9. So instead of writing PQ, I'm going to write the number 9 plus. What do I know about QR? Well, they told me that QR was 28. So instead of writing QR, I can replace QR with the number 28. And what do I know about PR? Well, I don't know anything about PR, so I'm going to continue to write PR. So that's the way it would look like algebraically. And now I notice I can just take the 9 and the 28, add them up, and I should get to 37 is equal to PR. Let's take a look at the next one. It says well, first of all, did I answer the question? Yeah, I answered the question because they asked me to find PR, and I found out that PR is 37. All right, let's move on to the next one. It says, if QR is 17 and PR is 21, I want to find PQ. On this one, it's not a typo. I did write that correctly. Hopefully, most of you guys are able to see, like, oh, in this case, we're not going to be adding it because they gave me the longer section of 21 and they gave me one of the smaller sections of 17. So if I want to find the other small section, I'm going to need to subtract. Now, if you're not seeing it, then it's definitely important that you add up and set up your equation. So I'm going to set up the exact same equation I did before. PQ plus QR is going to equal PR. Let me go ahead and write that down. PQ plus QR is equal to PR. This time, what did they tell me? Well, as far as PQ, they didn't tell me what PQ is. That's what I'm trying to find. So I'm going to go ahead and just write PQ. As far as QR, they did tell me that QR is 17. So on this QR, I get to replace that with the number 17 is equal to, and as far as PR, they did give me the value of PR. They told me it was 21. So I get to replace that PR with the number 21. Now that I have it, I'm going to solve for PQ. PQ has that plus 17 in its way. In order to get rid of that plus 17, I'm going to subtract 17 on both sides. These cancel, and I get PQ is equal to 4. And I'm going to check again. Did I answer the question? They asked me to find PQ, and sure enough, I did find PQ. PQ is 4. All right, we got a couple more problems. Again, since it's a video, go ahead and pause the video and copy down those problems. I'm going to assume you already did that, and we're just going to move on. If CE is equal to 7x plus 4, I want to find the value of x. And they did give me an image, so I'm going to be using this image to try to solve it. Let's figure out the pieces. The first piece is CD. The second piece is DE. And then the piece total would start from C and go all the way to E. So my big piece is segment CE. So if I want to write my statement, then I've got to go the little pieces, which is going to be CD plus DE is equal to CE. Again, CD plus DE equals a whole segment, which is CE. All right, let's see. What did they give us? Let's start with the first one. CD is right here. So for this CD, I get to write that it is x plus 3 plus DE. DE is right here. So for this DE, I get to replace it with 8x minus 9. Now CE, some of you guys are going to get stuck on this picture and say, oh no, they didn't tell me CE. However, they did tell me CE. They just told me in a different spot. They told me over here in the problem that CE is 7x plus 4. So CE, I can replace it with 7x plus 4. The 10th grade part of this problem is done. Now we just need to use our middle school skills to solve this equation, which some of us needed a lot of help on. Okay, so if that's you, make sure you're going into the tutoring center once they open it up, or that you're coming in during snack and lunch and getting help from me. To solve equations that look like this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a line down the equal sign. Here's the equal sign, and I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. So on the left-hand side of that equal sign, are there any like terms? Yep, there's an x and an 8x. When I add those up, it's going to be 9x. There's also a 3 and a negative 9, and when I add those up, I'm going to get negative 6. So let's go ahead and write down what I ended up with. I ended up with 9x minus 6 equals, again, here's that equal sign. On the right-hand side, I can't combine these two. They're different types of things. So unfortunately, there is no step for me to do there. I'm just going to go ahead and write 7x plus 4. Once we have the like terms combined, we can go ahead and start solving for x. The next step is to move the smaller x, which in this case is going to be the 7x. So to move the 7x, I'm going to subtract 7x on both sides. These are going to cancel. I get 2x minus 6 is equal to 4. I'm going to get rid of that minus 6 with a plus 6. I get 2x equals 10. And then you're going to divide both sides by the coefficient. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. I get x equals 5. X equals 5, I'm going to go back and see, did I answer the question? Well, they told me to find the value of x, and I know x is 5. So yeah, I did answer the question, and so in this case, I'd be done. Now, on a quiz or an exam, you're probably going to want to check to see if you got this correct. The way we check this is to plug your numbers back into each section and see if your equation holds. What do I mean by that? So let's go ahead and write CD. Here's my check. Again, I already have my answer. I'm just checking to see if this works. CD. They told me CD was x plus 3. But now I know x is 5. So instead of x plus 3, I can replace the x with the number 5. And I know that CD is 8. Now, on its own, really, that doesn't help me too much. But again, I said we're going to do every single section. So let's do the next one. Segment DE, they told me in the beginning was 8x minus 9. But now I know that x is 5. So this is 8 times 5 minus 9, which is 40 minus 9, which is 31. And again, on its own, really doesn't tell me much, but I need that last section. The last section was CE. CE was 7x plus 4. And with the 7x plus 4, I know that x is 5. So CE is equal to 7 times 5 plus 4, which means I have 35 plus 4, which means I have 39, which on its own doesn't tell me anything. But together, this will tell me quite a bit. So for example, I know that when I add these two pieces up, it better add up to the whole thing. Let me add the two little pieces up. The first piece is 8, the other piece is 31. When I add up 8 and 31, the answer I get is 39. So the two little pieces do add up to the big piece, which means I know I got this right. If you would have had like an 8 here and a 2 over here, and then a 39 here, 8 plus 2 is 10, and that's not equal to 39. So that in that case, you did something wrong. Okay, so that's how we're going to check our problems. You plug them back in and make sure that the problem actually makes sense. All right, last one. This is number 4. It says if R is the midpoint of QS, find QS. Now, something being a midpoint is very, very important. Okay, it's not just some random point. It's a point exactly in the middle. And when a point is exactly in the middle, that makes it so that the properties of these two little segments, if it's exactly in the middle, then that means this segment is exactly the same size as this segment. And that's important. So let's go ahead and put a little thought bubble on that midpoint. Midpoint implies both sides are equal. I know we like to use that word the same, but in mathematics, it's a lot more stronger to use the word equal because it literally tells you what to do. So I know that this side, QR, is going to be equal to this side, RS. In fact, I'm going to start that problem by writing it down. Segment QR is equal to segment RS. All right, so let's see. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this QR. I know how much QR is. QR is going to be 2x plus 16. And that's going to be equal to RS, this other section over here. And RS is going to be 5x minus 17. And now that I have it set up, I can go ahead and solve for x, okay? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line, write down the equal sign, and I'm going to look on the left, and I notice I'm going to try to combine like terms. I can't combine these, so I'm stuck. I can't combine these, so I'm stuck. So as far as combining like terms, I can't combine like terms. I'm going to move on to the next step, which is to start solving for x. When we start solving for x, we're going to try to get rid of the smaller x. In this case, the smaller x is going to be that 2x. So I'm going to subtract 2x on each side. These cancel. I get 16 is equal to 3x minus 17. Now that I have that 17 on the right, I'm going to get rid of it by adding 17 on both sides. I get 33 is equal to 3x. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And I get 11 is equal to x. And I look at it and I go, okay, well, did I answer the question? And the answer is no. I did not answer the question because they told me to find QS. What I found was x. So it's not that I did anything wrong. It's just I'm not done with this problem. So now that I know that x is 11, what do I do with it? Well, I use it, right? I know x is 11. Where can I use it? Well, I can use it right here. I can find QR now that I know how much x is. So I'm going to go ahead and use this x right here to figure out exactly how long QR is. So I'm going to go ahead and write QR. What do I know about QR? Well, they told me that QR is 2x plus 16. QR is 2x plus 16. But now that I know what x is, I can replace that x and write, instead of that, QR is equal to 2 times 11 plus 16. QR must be 22 plus 16. So QR must be 38. All right, I know QR is 38, and I asked myself, did I answer the question? Again, the answer is no. I'm getting closer though, right? They're asking me for QS. I found QR. So now what? Well, now that I know QR, I can find RS. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now, I'm going to do it. There is a shortcut. If you see the shortcut, great. Okay. If you don't see the shortcut, we're going to do it the long way just so you can get a better handle. And then you're going to notice something later. Okay. So RS is equal to, in this case, they told me RS is 5x minus 17. That means RS must be equal to 5 times, again, remember that we know that X is 11. So I'm going to replace it with the number 11 minus 17. RS is equal to 55 minus 17. That means RS must be equal to 38. This section is 38. But this section was 38. Guys, that's not a mistake. Remember, what did we say earlier? R is the midpoint. So if this is 38, then of course this thing needs to be 38. We didn't need to do all this work because I knew it was the midpoint. I knew it was going to be 38 before I even started this problem. But if you didn't see it, oh well. I mean, you still got a different method of coming up with that RS. Okay. If you did see it, great. You skipped all this stuff. Okay. Did I answer the question? No. Again, I'm still trying to find QS, but more importantly, I know that this is 38. I know that this is 38. And if I want QS, I just need to add those 38s together. So I'm going to write QS is equal to 38 plus 38. That means QS must be equal to 76. And I asked myself, did I finish the question or did I answer the question? The answer is yes, I did answer the question. I know QS is 76 and I can stop right there. All right, that's all the notes for today. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.